If you don't like the factory set where you have to be on mode 1 for 3 of your tracks and mode 2 for the other 3 of your tracks, you want to toss them all on the same mode, this video is for you. Welcome to another ALaMode. Again, we're talking about ways to arrange all these buttons like ice cream. This is subjective. Today we're going to tackle the 6-track control mode. I'll show you what I do, I'll show you a couple different options that you might consider, and we'll get into it. I'm Mike, this is Cuzolio. Again, this is called the 6-track control mode, and your mode preference would be memory. Hardware requirements, this is the RC600 plus something else. You could do 2 auxiliary pedals, or if you have a MIDI controller, you could use that. For this, you're going to need all 9 pedals on the RC600, plus a few other things like the auxiliaries or the omniports. Technically, you don't need any assigns, but there's going to be a situation where you could use some assigns if you're going to use your MIDI. And then finally, of course, pair it with track effects and input effects. Okay, here we are again. This is going to be a memory, and it is a track control type of mode. All right, first things first, you can choose if you like horizontal or vertical. I'll first show you the horizontal here. Pretty self-explanatory. Or if you really wanted to, you could do all that. I'm going to show you mostly the horizontal stuff because it seems to make sense to me. All right, there's our 6 tracks, and you probably want to have a pedal mode button there so you can navigate around. Everybody's favorite all start stop over there in the top left, and then current track undo. This is as generic as it can get. Now let's talk about how we can use the auxiliary pedals. So if you have some auxiliary horizontal pedals, at least for now, if you just have your 2 auxiliary pedals plugged straight into your RC600, you could do this, and you're halfway there. So what if instead you put pedal mode over here, move tracks 5 and 6 up, and so now you do have track 1, stop, track 2, stop, track 3, 4, 5, and 6. This gives you the basics, but we just had to get rid of all start stop and current track undo. So either you're fully committed and you can just stay on one mode, and you can do that. Maybe pedal mode is off on a MIDI controller somewhere, and that's one assign that you've used. But I really like to have this pedal mode be on the actual RC600 because I want to see that red, white, and blue indicator to know where exactly I am. For the people that like the side-by-side, okay, so holy cow, you got to decide where you want to put these. Maybe you put them up here. I've got track 1, I've got track 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You can rearrange these any way you want, but maybe this is your style. Maybe this is what you like. And if you don't have these horizontal ones and you actually have FS7s, then you could also do it this way. So we've explored all the different ways you can lay this out, but it is possible to get all 6 tracks with record and play, and then you probably want to have this pedal mode guy here. Again, we have abandoned the all start stop. I really think this one's super critical. So you're going to need a MIDI controller of some kind, or I'm just going with one mode only. And that's up to you. Now here's how I like to do it. So I do have an MC6 and I've got the Omniport 3 pedal controls that I've actually built into my board. And so I've got the opportunity to do this. So here we go. Because I have my Omniports attached to my MC6 controller, I now have all my stops here and all my stops here. So what does this require? You can do 6 assigns, and that is fine. Assign number 1 would be track 1 stop, and then assign number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So what you can do is with 2 assigns, you have current track number 1 through 6, and it's based off of the MIDI controller, and then current track stop is another assign. So what you would do is you would send 2 commands every time you hit one of these buttons.
So it turns out I just lied right there. You cannot just have 2 assigns and then get all of your 6 tracks to be able to select one of the 6 tracks and then hit the stop button. Select one of the tracks and then hit the stop button. I thought current track number was going to be a list from track 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I just had to pick one of the values along that scale. But it turns out it's not that easy. The long story short is that if you were to do it the way that I just described, you would actually need 4 assigns. Current track num for tracks 1 and 2, for tracks 3 and 4, for tracks 5 and 6, and for stop. We're not going to get into it here, but I will ask you to watch this video, which might help explain why current.track num is a different assign than any other one in the entire system. What I do have is a link to a PDF below. It's got 2 pages. I've got 4 options on how you can actually take this information and make yourself an RC600 that has MIDI controlled stop buttons. I really want to hear your feedback about it. Ask me any questions you can in the comments. All right, let's finish this up.
Of course, with using MIDI, now I've got my auxiliary pedals available again, and I can now do my pedal mode. I bring my all start stop over to here. My current track undo is back. And now here's something controversial, what to do with number 7. I call this my drum button. I want to introduce to you the concept of a utility button. It's a button that might change slightly with every memory you go to, so every song it might be slightly different, but you have to make it similar enough to every song where it's performing a similar function. So I'm calling this my drum button, and sometimes it's going to be starting and stopping the rhythm. Other times, if I'm going to record my drums on tracks 1 and 2, I'm going to have that button start both tracks at the same time. Sometimes it could be rhythm variation. Sometimes I want to go between variation B and C on the verses versus the chorus. And sometimes it's just undo track 1. I can record my drum track, but then the very last thing I'm going to add is the ride. And that's going to be turned on during a chorus and then turned off during a verse. So I will always have access to a button that turns on and off the ride, and I haven't used an extra track to do that. I like to have that button so that I can change things up, but I still know it's the drum button. So this is a utility button concept. So just for the heck of it, let's finish this off. Let's say that I've got an expression pedal plugged in my next extra spot. I'm going to slow down the song at the very end. And also I want to have available, let's say, a low pass filter on the bridge. So this is the 6-track control method, mode, whatever you want to call it. You're gonna need something. You either need 2 auxiliary pedals or you're gonna need a MIDI controller in order to get this all done efficiently. So there you go. You can actually get all 6 tracks on the same mode if you want. You're going to need a few extra things with some extra pedals here and there, whether it's auxiliary pedals or you're actually using MIDI. It's all possible. This is really cool. The RC600 has a lot of tricks up its sleeve. Some of you are going to want to actually set your board up this way. If you do, let me know in the comments. I'm Mike. This is Cuzolio.